Hi, y'all. My name is Haley Sprankle, and I'm from Brit and Co. And I'm so excited to be chatting with you today. How is everyone?
Great.
We're doing great. Thank you.
I want your
Oh,
sweater. It's the first thing that came to mind when you came on here. I was like, I need that sweater.
Oh,
thank
yeah,
you.
that's fun.
It's
I
great.
wish I could recommend it, but it's a hand-me-down.
Ah,
So
even better.
honestly, my biggest recommendation is get good girlfriends that get close.
Hey,
On
that's
theme, on theme.
on theme. Get good
I
girlfriends.
know. Absolutely. And something obviously that I love so much about this show outside of the journalism and the politics of it all is the female friendship and the mentorship. And so I'm curious if you have one woman in your own life who's been a big influence on you, and that could be professionally, personally, whatever it means to you.
My mom, definitely. Completely my best friend. The reason I write, the reason this show was so meaningful to me was because I knew she would flip out for it. But 100% instilled all of the pieces, all the reasons that I write about women the way I want to write about women is because of my mom.
I love that. What about y'all?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, well, of course, my mom, but Julie's mom is really all over our show, and definitely my mom. But professionally, I would give a lot of credit to Jill Abramson and Maureen Dowd and women in that generation who really mentored me. Jill hired me away from the Wall Street Journal to come to the New York Times, and I remember her saying, kind of think of journalism as the ultimate buffet. You can cover politics, you can write a book review, you can cover theater, you can and she just made me look at journalism a different way. She's also like tough as nails in a way that I was not comfortable with when I started journalism. And I remember very much struggling. You probably have had this as a journalist to write things that people don't like, and you get trolled or you get hate. And she one time just looked at me and said, as a journalist, you're either hated or you're irrelevant. And I was like, damn. But her point was basically like if people aren't talking about it, debating it, then like so she's helped me develop a thicker skin. And I credit her a lot for that.
I love that.
And
How about you, Julie?
I just look back at who were the girls on the bus, Hollywood style, the Sherry Lansings, the Laura Ziskins, the Dawn Steeles, the women that had to do the work twice as hard in heels and backwards and all those, whatever all those little cliches are, that had to really crushingly like sacrifice a lot of themselves, their souls, their families, their this to break into what was really a man's business, and have then paved the way for the Donna Langleys and the Susan Rovners and the Perlina Igboukways and the women who are in charge today. And like I just think that the more women that we put in charge of these really important jobs in this really important world, the cleaner the process will be, the cleaner and kinder the process will be, and the more we'll be able to get back to the meat of the work, which is telling, in this case, telling the story or reporting the news. So, yay, women.
No, I love all of those answers are very different, but also very related. And I love that so much. I think it really is a testament to womanhood itself. So thank you for sharing that. Alongside the big themes of women in general, I also think there's a big theme about the different generations and how they approach work and life and everything in between. And so we get such a nice snapshot of Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z on this show of what divides them. I'm curious though, what do you think really brings these generations together, like exemplified by the friendships on the show?
Think respect. I think one of the things that you see very early on, as early as episode 2, when Lola and Grace, who are in some respects, the most at odds with each other, and to the point where they have a bet going on who's right. When they get to the end of it, it's the two of them sort of forced to look at each other in the eye. And this is pretty early in the arc of their journey, but first to see each other as you did a lot of work. You couldn't just and Lola having to look at Grace going, And you understand the human condition better than I do because you have lived it, and there is something to that. And I think the respect that they have immediately for each other sort of supersedes petty competitiveness. And I think it's what, to Julie's point of what makes it work clean, why do we want women working together? Because fundamentally, I think we all have so much going on. And we respect each other's time and energy, and because we get it.
And I think the device of the bus was like really great for your question, because if Lola and Grace just like cross paths for 5 minutes or for a day in a press conference, they should be like, that influencer. They're forced together in a tiny space all day, every day. They have to eat the turkey sandwich that are thrown at them. They have to sleep at the same Hilton Garden Inn every night. And I think they're forced to see each other's humanity in a way that, like, it was a great kind of pressure cooker for us to play in, because you could put all these different types of women together, and they had to get past their differences. They had to talk about their wedding and their drama with their husbands and the daughter that's not speaking to her anymore, because you're together all the time.
I love that. I love that. I am also curious too, given, trying to find the balance in our differences and everything, and how it relates to both work, but then also politics. It makes me think about how it's another election year. We've got a show about an election year. And, there's a lot of fatigue around elections right now. So I'm curious if there's anything that you hope the audience takes away from this show in regards to what an election year even means anymore.
I think, funnily enough, that because believe me, in 6 years of trying to make this show, I've heard the word political fatigue and election fatigue far too many times. For me, I think election fatigue comes out of two things. One is that the real life process has become so ridiculous that it borders on farce. And two is, a lot of people don't even understand the process. They don't know what a caucus is. They don't know what a primary is. They barely know where their voting booth is. They certainly don't know what a contested convention is. Like, there's so much I personally learned while making this show. So if you look at this, like, it's a workplace dramedy, where the job just happens to be the presidential election. And therefore you can enjoy the details and the journey of that election along the way. But the dramedy part of it is what matters. It's the women and the friendships and work-life balance and romantic disintegrations and, and personal tragedies and, the quickie hookup on the road in a cheap hotel. All those things, that's what the show is. So what my hope is, people will be able to, like, set aside their distaste for the circus that we are living in real life and join our circus, which is a lot more fun, and our bus, which is a lot more fun to be on.
Oh, for sure. I definitely want to be on that bus as a journalist. So it seems like a blast. Well, I really appreciate y'all's time. I've enjoyed watching the show so much. I can't wait for my friends and family to watch it. So thank you so much for everything, and congratulations on such an amazing project.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.